first started my artistic investigations at a very early age, as way back as primary school. I could remember doing a drawing on Kitchener with some bees when he sang Boom Boom, the killer bee bite. I don't know the correct name of the song, but after hearing that, I did a drawing based on that. I had a very rough start, so to speak. I sat common entrance examination on 2 occasions and failed. I was out of a school at that time, and my teacher from primary school, Mr. George Martin, he and his wife got me into St. Dominic's Convent School, and I believe that everything fell into place from there, because it was at St. Dominic's Convent School that I met Miss Spencer, who introduced me to Leroy Clark, who introduced me to a new philosophy on art, on life, on being or becoming an artist. Because my goal at that time was not really to become an artist. I was good in art, I had the skills, but I had never seen it as a career path for me. And I remember one day after working with him, I went and I said, Mr. Clark, I'd like to speak to you. So he said, you know what? He had a blue table at the time. And at that table, he would meet everybody. So he sit on one end, you sit on one end, and the conversation would begin. And I said to him, I think I know what I want to be in life. And he said, well, what's that? So I said, an artist. And he went off. I got the total opposite of what I expected. Said, oh, you think art is easy? You think being an artist is easy? You want to do this because you think it's easy stuff? And he gave me a whole lecture on being an artist and becoming an artist and his journey towards arriving where he's at. He's now a master artist. And that lecture, it remains with me, and I use that as a template towards getting where I need to go, or where I dream to go. So I do believe in destiny. I strongly believe that the hearts of men has become desperately wicked, and people tend to disregard human life. And in my artwork, I try to produce pieces that relate to the ills of society. My work is influenced by cultural issues, political issues, crime and violence. Anything that threatens humanity influences my work. One night, my son, 3 years old at the time, came to me and he said, Mommy, what does Scratch Bum sound like? And I said, well, boom. So he said, what a gunshot sound like? So I paused and I said, well, why you want to know that? And he said, so I would know when to hide. And for a 3-year-old to say something like that, it gives you an idea of where we are at as a people, as a society. And my work deals with stuff like that. So a simple conversation like that influences my work. When people view my work, I would like them to get the message. To get the message of the work, my intentions, rather than looking at my skill or looking at how good I could put colors together or something like that. I really like them to see beyond that and see the message that I'm trying to portray. I believe in having a dream and seeing that dream come true. My advice to any young creative person is that they need to be dedicated, they need to be committed, and it's a lot of hard work. There are no shortcuts to it. And humility. I would encourage anybody to remain humble and not to get too much overwhelmed with people saying, you know, your work is great or you're a great artist, and you know, you let it go to your head and you start thinking that you're there. because at 78, Leroy Clark would still say that there's a lot that he would like to accomplish within his work that he hasn't, and he remains humble by it. And I know a lot of artists who feel the same way. A quotation that I always bear in mind from Leroy Clark is that your work is prayer, your cornerstone and your obia, your pathway that leads to God. So I always, when I work, I see it as an offering.